Okay, it's going.
All right, cool. So, I thought it'd be good to start off, Dana sends out those Mike Ferry, motivational Mondays, I think it's what it's called, right? And sometimes I look at them and sometimes I don't. I've heard a lot of them. I mean, like the first thing about all this stuff, nothing I say and nothing really you read is new stuff. Everything that's out there has been said many, many times. It's just people have a different way of saying the same thing. Jocko, right? Jocko talks about discipline is freedom, and that's the same thing Jim Rohn talked about back in the day. He just didn't call it discipline is freedom, right? So everybody's got their own unique way of packaging things, but a couple of these quotes I thought were really, really good and timely for what we were doing. Wayne Dyer, right? You cannot always control what goes on the outside, but you can control what goes on the inside. Your actions, right? What you do, you can control, right? You can't control the weather, you can't control a lot of stuff, but you can still go out and walk, right? It doesn't matter what the weather's doing, you can still go out and walk. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellent is not an act, it's a habit. Um, that's a good one, right? This is one of my favorites. Hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. I love that one. Everything you've ever wanted is sitting on the other side of fear, right? We don't start things a lot of times because we're fearful of, how cold the shower might be. Um, but once you do it, you realize uh there's something about doing that stuff and about conquering your fears that gives you energy and confidence, right? To take on a lot of other things. The cold shower thing, and I'll get into it a little bit later, but the cold shower thing, it's more than just a cold shower, right? And that's what people don't really understand is like when you do it, there's just so many health benefits to it, but also mental benefits, and just how you feel that go on with it. It's a simple thing, but it just has a lot of positives. So, and then the other one that wasn't on there is one that Jim Rohn always talks about is success, right? People that are successful, and success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And if that doesn't hit what we're talking about here, I don't know what does. I mean, success is about just doing the small things every day, continuously, to no fanfare, just doing what you need to do. And then in the end, everybody's going to be like, wow, that person's really successful. They must be whatever. And it's like, no, they just grinded every day for a long time. That's why they're successful. So yeah, thanks for being on. I wanted to talk about the first week and see how everybody's doing, everybody's feeling, what you're learning, what troubles or struggles you're having, if any, and just basically to be able to share with each other so that we can all get inspiration from each other. I know um, I get inspiration from seeing you all do this. I get an inspiration from other people. So that's what this is about, really. We're all in this together, and I think the community side of it is what this is about. So, does anybody have anything to share this first week? I'll go through each task and see if anybody has any kind of thoughts on each of those that they've done. But overall, does anybody have anything to share? I've heard from some of you, so I
Oh,
don't guess.
yeah, yeah, I mean, I'll share. It's just,
Wait, I have a question really quick first. Can we call them something other than tasks?
You can call them whatever you want, Dana. What do you want to call them?
What do I want to call them?
that's funny.
Fun things. No, I don't know.
Well,
I didn't know if you'd used any other description of
I
the.
mean, I'm good at like checking off boxes, so I like
Yeah,
tasks,
yeah,
but you know what?
okay.
I mean, you can call them whatever you want. Daily, whatever challenges. I don't know. Whatever you want to call them, Dana.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been listing them as daily habits. So I have a habit tracker. So
Daily disciplines.
yeah,
I mean, whatever,
Okay.
whatever
I
you
didn't know.
want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, there's no real right way there, Dana. That's just what I choose
Gina
to
and I were talking about it. We were like, task sounds like
work.
Yeah, work, exactly.
Hey, you must work harder on yourself, Dana.
All right, it's work. It's called
It's
work.
work
Okay,
is right.
work it, girl, work it.
Work them tasks. Mike, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going basically by your list, what I'm using.
Yep.
And so, like I said, the cold shower thing got easier the second day, third day, and then now it's really nothing. I just actually, that's my shower for the day. And then later, at night, if I feel like taking a warm one, I will, but I can stay in there for 5 minutes if I want. After the first minute or so,
Yep.
it's weird how it changes, and you feel like I'm in the cold, but it's not piercing. And then on that list, you do mention on the one part about diet, but it's not specific. I mean, I've always eaten really well organic food and just, but I mean, for other people, is there anything specific about that, or the way that they eat, they choose to eat, or?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, everybody's at different stages, right? I mean, for some people, eliminating sugar is a big thing, right? Or eliminating, I mean, whatever you want to do, really. Yeah, again, it was meant to be. I don't want to be like super restrictive about it to where people can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Diet is tough, and so I think just like, hey, I'm not going to eat desserts. I think that's good enough. We all start somewhere. I started my journey, 2010 or so, when my dad had a, four-way bypass, right? Kind of got me thinking like, hey, I'm on the same road if I don't change something here. And I just started just watching what I ate versus just not really caring about it. I eliminated sugar and sodas and processed foods. I mean, if you just eliminate sugar and processed foods, that's like 99% of the battle right there. And then you can argue about which is better between keto and paleo and vegan and vegetarian and, carnivore and all these things that people are doing. Ultimately, that's all. If you're talking about that, then you figured out that sugar, sodas, desserts, processed food is bad. And so I think if people can just eliminate the sugar and the sodas and the processed foods, I think if they just do that, that would be great. But ultimately, it's just following whatever program it is that you set. For me, I just basically said I'm not going to eat desserts. I'm not going to eat, uh, processed foods because I've been eating chips and, I would eat dessert here and there. And I just said I'm not going to do that. So for me, it was
Yeah.
just that simple. But it can be whatever you want: keto, vegetarian, vegan, whatever it is that is a challenge for you, I think is what the intent was. And I've just found when I stopped drinking soda and, processed foods, that had the biggest impact. And then from there, it led me down a path of, tracking my ketones every day and doing crazy stuff. So, but I think you got to start crawling before you start running. So,
I can add to that, Tyler.
yeah.
With Atomic Habits, picking simple goals, the simplicity of it is really good, I think, because you're setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
When you aren't overcomplicating things, when you're not picking too many tasks or daily goals. I think if you select just a few of them and you concentrate on those, then you can build on that, and hopefully after 30 days we're adding to it, or we feel better about ourselves and we continue to do it.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Mike. I mean, there's another book called Tiny Habits, which is very similar. And that's the whole point, is that once you start getting successful at doing certain things, it becomes easier to take on bigger tasks, right? You don't want to do too much and then fail and then feel like you're a failure, right? So that's really, really important. And that's kind of that's Mike, why I kind of wanted it to be like not too restrictive, because I knew that people are going to take on what they can take on. And if they take on too much, like there's some people I've heard that are doing every single task, right? And that's great for them because they've been doing some of this stuff for a while. But some people may not even be doing all of the tasks that they're supposed to, which is, the 2 and then plus the 3. So either way, this was meant just to kind of explore and be people can choose as many as they want or as little as they want, really, but it's ultimately meant to just maybe change some of the habits and start some new disciplines. So definitely starting small, biting off chunks, and then you start to feel success. And once you feel success, then you can start taking on bigger and bigger mountains, discipline mountains.
Yeah.
So one of the hardest things for me has been drinking all the water.
Yeah.
That's been the tough one. I feel like a dog for Pete's sake. The rest of the stuff, the cold shower, once you're in there for a few seconds, you just stand there. It's not all that bad. It's actually kind of good, stimulating.
Yeah.
And some of the other stuff, I've gone a whole week without bread, no sugar, no dessert. I'm almost getting withdrawals from it. But I'm getting into it, and now I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
Good. Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes you just, and that's the thing with this cold shower, right? I mean, for me, it's like the first 10 seconds, right? And then after that, it's just, it is what it is, right? And that's a good reminder of a lot of things that we do, even exercise. If you just start walking, if you just start moving, then it becomes a whole lot easier to keep going. And there's an old saying, or a saying that in one of those books I talked about, is that you want to get the bus rolling, right? Once you get the bus rolling, it's easier to keep it rolling, right? But getting it rolling is the toughest part. And so it's a good reminder. A lot of these tasks are a good reminder of that, is that once you just start reading, or once you just start journaling, or once you just start meditating, or whatever it is, once you just start, it's a lot easier to keep going. But yeah, Sam, with the sugar and I mean, how many years have you been eating that stuff, right? It's not just gonna
Long time.
the routine you were on is not just gonna like go away quietly. And that's what this is about too, is trying to get a new routine so that it makes it easier. Like I used to do CrossFit like every day, almost 7 days a week for 10 years. And I haven't done it in a while now, and I don't really want to do it because it's harder it'd be harder for me to try to do it again because I haven't had that habit. Whereas before it was like autopilot. So the more we can get these on autopilot, the better. Then it's not a matter of willpower. It's just what you do. And that's the key, is that if you can make it what you do, where it's not a struggle, then it's a whole lot easier, right? It's like, why do I take cold showers? Because that's what I've been doing, and that's what I do. And I like how it makes me feel. So hopefully some of these will stick.
Let me say something. Oh, I just want to say something. For the water, it is difficult drinking a gallon. So I've just been starting with a half a gallon.
Good.
So I've been doing good on that all week. So just kind of like all the other stuff, just kind of, the next week I'll try to do a gallon.
Yeah. Well, like I said the other day, like good enough, right? I mean, like that's like, again, the point is to do something that you're not comfortable with, that you haven't been doing, and it's not part of your routine. And if it's not a gallon, a half a gallon is still better than nothing. And it's better than a Dr. Pepper, which is what I used to drink. So, I mean, again, we need to not be super critical of ourselves if we're not hitting all these marks. Sometimes we can be our own worst critic, and we have to know when that's helping us and when it's hurting us. Sometimes it helps us and sometimes it hurts us. So, but good job on just committing to something.
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
So, I watched your video on Saturday, the link you sent us.
Yeah.
And that guy's a character, man.
And
I was proud of myself because I'm not really into reading much.
Yeah.
But instead of listening to the play along where he, reads it to you, I read it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remembered that Dan and Simeon gave me this book.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it's a great book because it's about an Asia with Remax and how successful he was doing it himself and not being on a team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been pretty cool, just getting into reading. I've never been, I'd rather play guitar or something, but it's actually been pretty nice information. So
cool. Yeah, that was an interesting take on it, right? I hadn't heard that take on it before, but I agree with kind of what he was coming. That guy, actually, if you search him up, he's got some good books. Mark Madsen is his name, and he's just funny, man, the way he writes. And he's not PG-13, but he's pretty spot on with what he says. And I enjoy his stuff. And that's the thing about reading, is you just never know where it's going to take you. I get books that I never thought I would read before, just based on reading one book and then seeing what they recommend, and then all of a sudden you're you're reading about stuff that you just didn't know that you would be interested in, and it just expands your mind, really, is what it comes down to. So I enjoy reading for sure. But yeah, I'm glad that you took a look at that and hopefully see some value in that for sure.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I have given up fast food, which
Good.
I do. I love breakfast fast food. So that's been really difficult. I didn't think it was going to be that hard, but the fast food, and I'm doing the water and the reading. So
Good.
it's been, I've made it. Yay.
Good. Good job. Do you feel better?
Yes, I do. And I thank you, Dana and Simeon, for the gym membership. I've been going every day, haven't missed a day yet, and I'm really feeling great.
Awesome,
Yes.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
That's really
And
good.
that's-
Yep, that's really
Yeah.
good.
Can they hear me?
Yeah.
So,
That's
Simeon?
what-
so one more thing about reading. I mean, I read what I have to read, a sentence of something. I started to reading a book, Tyler, that I got out of Doug and Jenny Pfeiffer's house when I started to do the cleaning. And
Yeah.
it was written by Dick Coon's mother,
Oh, wow.
the building of Snow Summit. I've got so into that book that I can't wait to wake up to start reading. And I'm reading for sometimes 20 minutes to a half hour.
I know.
Can't wait to finish it to start something else. It's a lot better than turning on the news at 5 and listening to bad news. So it's actually turned out to be a good thing for me because I never discipline myself to read except what I have to or what I read on the emails I get. And now I've really gotten a liking to reading this story that has just opened my eyes to reading. And I thank you for that.
I mean, yeah, don't thank yourself for doing it. I mean, I'm just, these things that I'm recommending are things that I've found that if you do them, they make you feel stuff that you didn't feel before, and positive things, right? I mean, some of the things you said there is so important, right? Like you want to start doing these things. You want to get up and start reading, or you want to get up and I want to take a cold shower in the morning. I've heard a few people say they look forward to it. So I know I'm not the only one, but like some of these things, it's like they start to be part of who you are and kind of what you do. And the fact that, Sim, you've been around a long time, you know a lot of stuff, but the fact that you can still be excited to learn new things is what it's all about, right? Always trying to do it. And then the other thing you said too, it's like sometimes people say, I don't have time. I don't have time to do some of these things. And it's like, we all have time to do the things we think are important, right? Like if we want to watch the news instead of read, that's what we're going to do. We have the time, right? So I think that's important for us to, figure out is, sorry, there's a vacuum coming on here. We have the time to do the things that we determine are what we want to do. Like watching the news, like you just said, you've now replaced that with reading. And wow, I mean, what a way better way to spend your time, in my opinion. The news is always going to be the same. Right? So real quick, I'll just run through some of the tasks and just let me know what you're doing or if you're having any problems with it. So exercise, again, the most simple thing you can do is walk. It doesn't matter what the weather's doing, you should still go and walk. Trust me, when it's worse, the weather's worse, you'll feel even better when you get it done. It's kind of like the cold shower.
Yesterday.
So at minimum, you can go out and walk, right? If there's no gym around, if you can't do anything, I think all of us can walk. So go do that. There's no excuse not to do 30 minutes of walking. So how's everybody doing on the exercise?
Well, I walk the dog 2 miles in the morning, then we go to the gym, and then a cold shower, walk the dog, gym. I go to work, do all my work, and then in the evening I walk the dog another 2 miles or more. So actually it's kind of 3 workouts. But you're right about the walking. I mean, it's snow here, and the more snow the better. I enjoy it because you're trudging through. You feel like you're just, it's like an adventure. The
Yep.
worse the weather is, yeah.
Yeah, and just a lot of us sit during the day a lot, so it's good to get out and move around. And being outside, I mean, the science behind being outside and being in nature is very strongly tied in with, overall happiness and feeling good. There's something about our history as human beings and being outside that is beneficial. And, you know, if you can do it without, you know, listening to something, you can do it without like being on the phone, the better, just because it takes you out of the moment if you're, you know, constantly checking your phone and listening to something, which if you're going to do it, that's a good time to do it, is to listen to a podcast or a book. But better would be to just do it without anything and just go out and enjoy the nature that's out there, especially in Big Bear, right? In a mountain town. So anybody else on exercise?
Yeah, one good thing, if you can't get to the gym, you can just do push-ups. I got 35-pound dumbbells. I've been doing some curl action going on here.
Gun show.
And so,
Yep.
so there's always a way to do it. You know, if it's raining outside and you don't want to be walking in the neighborhood, I'm actually ordering some door hangers. So when I go walking my neighborhood, I'm actually utilizing two factors, and now I'm walking up to doors and putting on the door hangers and walking at the same time. So
Sweet. That's awesome, man. 2 for 1 right there.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, there's always an opportunity to do something, right? I mean, it's just if you have to drop down in your kitchen and start doing squats and push-ups, I mean, you can do it. Anybody else? Any questions on exercise?
Yeah. Exercise, I feel like, is probably one of the easier ones for me. I'm usually going to the gym, or I take my son for a walk after work. And you know, if you can't get anything in, the, you know, worst case, there's always YouTube. There's 100,000 videos on YouTube of just quick little exercises. So if for whatever reason I don't go to the gym or go for a walk, when I put my son down, I just do a little YouTube video. So yeah, it's one of the more easier ones in my opinion.
Yeah, thanks, Evan. I think some of these are easier than others for people, right? Depending upon kind of what you've been doing. And yeah, you're right. I remember being, you know, when I travel or, you know, for a day and I needed to get an exercise in, I just go and I would like search up a yoga, you know, like a yoga 45-minute yoga exercise thing. And there's plenty of those out there. So I guess ultimately what it comes down to is if we give ourselves an excuse, we're going to not do it. Right. If we don't give ourselves an excuse, we will do it. And so, you know, try to think about that. If you don't want to do something, it's like, yeah, I don't feel like doing this, but I know I need to do it. So get the bus rolling, get started, and then it gets easier, right? After the first minute, everything's easier. So,
So
if
I have,
anybody-
I have
go
a
ahead.
couple things.
Yeah.
So we've been having fun with the random kindness,
Yep.
which Sim does automatically. So many things, it's funny that are on here. I think each one of us have things that we innately already do, but just to think about it more, like we were at Costco yesterday and some homeless guy was sitting on the curb. We didn't even walk by him, but he looked over and saw him. And he goes, wait a minute, I'm gonna go give this guy some money.
I gave him $5.
Yeah.
And the guy he was sitting on the curb looking down, he looked up and he looked at Simeon and I was in the background, he looked at me. And I just went, you know, like the prayer sign and, you know, have a great day. And it just is such a good feeling to actually look for, you know, people or things that you can do. You see somebody, you know, struggling with something in the store, and whatever it is, and to actually do that.
Yeah.
And meeting new people.
But I didn't want to count him as meet one new person.
That didn't go in the same category. No, he didn't want to know.
Yeah,
where-
you gotta get his name and story for that to count.
Yeah,
You can't just
yeah.
give $5.
But I think, I mean, for us, the gallon of water, like, but we got the Chicago title ones that Kelsey gave us.
Yep.
And I figured 4 of these and plus an 8-ounce glass. is
Wow,
a
good job.
gallon. So we're.
And you're exercising, lifting that sucker up.
Yeah.
drinking.
And the reading, that's been a game changer for us, just the discipline, the whole thing. I mean, I feel like I've done just about everything on here. Consistently exercised throughout my life because I was a fitness instructor and it always stuck with me. And
Till she married me.
Simeon would never listen to me. So now he listens to you, which is awesome. Thanks for taking that burden off my shoulders. Anyway, And we're doing the low carb basically, and that I've been doing for a long time, but Sim was still into his bread and whatever carbs. So it's been great for us to be able to work together on it and accomplish a lot of these things. The journaling, I have a journal that I had from the mid-80s that I was journaling back then on my self, discovery and, development task, let's just call them tasks. But to look at that and say, well, I was doing it then, I stopped, but now it's fun to start it again. And you realize just by writing things down and acknowledging what you did for the day, or thinking about what you did and how you felt about some of the things you did, and just writing it down is so powerful. It's like, just like our goals become so much more powerful when you write it down. I'm just so like the cold shower thing. I did a cool shower, okay? But it just seems like it became a thing recently with the cold dipping and water baths and stuff. So I'm like, is this really, how long has this been around? Do I really need to get into this? So I've been resistant. on
I'm
that, but-
actually amazed how many people are going into the cold plunge that they have at the gym.
I know.
The
So
other
many
day,
people.
Ally went in it for 5 minutes. I mean, I was shocked.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys all have to take advantage of that. I
Mm.
think it's funny because with the cold shower, I don't know, there's something about it. It's way worse going in the plunge, but you go numb after like 30 seconds. So
Oh, God.
you're like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. But it was 47 degrees this morning. It was rough, but it's all right.
Yeah, that's not really.
I find it to be
easy.
easier than the shower. I don't know why.
You think it's easier?
I do. I don't know. I think that
Oh.
once you get in there with the shower, I feel like there's air hitting me. I don't know. For some reason, I just really like the plunge, and I put my AirPods in, and I have the same song that I listen to, just motivating to me, and I just sit there, and it sucks. And you like are red for my heels were numb this morning, but I really like it. I'm into it. So
Wow.
if you guys should do it. I mean, it's part of that gym membership. I do it after my workout. The guy at the gym said that if you do it before, it's even better, but I've been doing it after. So
That's what Joe Rogan does. Joe Rogan does his cold plunge and then he does his workout.
before, yeah, he was saying that it just like makes your workout that much better, but haven't tried it.
Yeah, and I don't know how long people have been doing. I mean, I think people have been doing it a while. It's definitely a trend right now. I mean, they're selling these things for like 15 grand. I do the cold shower because it's super easy, and
Yeah.
generally I take a shower every day, so I don't have to. It's about making things easy, right? If I have to go buy a cold plunge, or I have to go like fill up a tub and do all this stuff, or I have to go to a gym to do it, it's going to be a lot less likely that I'm going to do it. Whereas I can just go in my shower any time of day and do it. So again, trying to make it easy. I think the shower, I'm not an expert on this, but I think when you go into a plunge, when you go into a body of water, your whole body creates like some kind of layer. So it's actually easier to be in a plunge because the water's not, unless it's moving like a jet, like a hot tub. If it's moving water, like if you were to go into a river, that would be the worst because the water's moving constantly around you and you're not able to form that layer. Whereas a shower is similar because the water's constantly moving you and you have air hitting you and all sorts of stuff. So a shower is actually, I don't know. I've never done a cold plunge, so I can't say. But either way, I don't know how long people have been doing it. But number one, if you do it for quite a while and you just say, I hate this and it sucks, then don't do it, right? Yeah. Ultimately, you have to, but don't give up early either, right? I mean, I think that the key is to try it a few times, enough times to know that like, okay, yeah, I'm not doing it because I just don't like how I feel ultimately. If you don't feel good doing it, then don't do it, right? That applies to anything. But a lot of people, they actually feel better. I know there's studies out there, there's info out there that it actually helps with immune response. So like getting colds and things like that, it actually helps. It helps with joints and soreness in targeted areas. A lot of people, there's a video, I was gonna try to find it, of this gal who has like chronic problems, and she literally dives under the ice. She puts on a full-on wetsuit and everything like that, and it's somewhere in Norway or Sweden, and she goes and she has like this chronic pain, but she does this every day, and it like gives her relief from her chronic pain. I mean, to me, that's way better than taking all these medications and pills and all this stuff to try to numb ourselves, right? So, yeah, but ultimately, if it's not working for you, you're not feeling the benefits, you're not feeling good, you don't have to do it, but you got to try it. And a lot of people do get benefit out of it. I like it because of the benefits, but also the doing something hard that I don't really want to do mindset is, I think that's where I think a lot of it helps people. If you do it early in the morning, right when you wake up, the rest of the day seems a lot easier. So that's why I like it.
Hey, Tyler, I did see that video too about that girl, and she does it. Part of her chronic pain is from inflammation, and it does definitely reduce that. So I saw the same thing, and it really helps her. It's amazing. And I think ice baths, this is why athletes are so into ice baths right after their workout, is the reduction of inflammation and things like that. So there is proof that, this stuff does good things for you if you can get past that initial fear of the cold.
Yeah, it's just it's a good reminder of like a lot of things in life that we just have to do it, even though we may be fearful of it. And the first part of it is the hardest. And once we get started, it's easier. It's a good reminder of that. So that's why I like it. So yeah, we talked about diet, exercise, journaling. Anybody been journaling? Got anything about that? I know Dana talked about it. I like journaling. Just, gratitude. It's a good way to do gratitude, right? If you can get in the habit of doing that, it'll keep your mind out of, the woe is me, and start to think about, what you do have and the things that are positive in your life. So that's a good way to do that for sure. Meditation. Anybody? I haven't heard many people doing meditation. Anybody doing that? Allie? Terry?
Oh, yeah.
Tia?
Come in.
Allie? How's it going for you?
Well, it's easy for me because I daydream most of the time anyway.
Yeah. It's not about daydreaming.
Meditation is one of the things I actually do every day.
It is?
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you use?
Sometimes it's a guided meditation. There's a Bob Proctor one that I like because it also includes visualization. So it's kind of a combination of both. You're relaxing your mind and your body, but you're not going to go to sleep. But then you're visualizing what you want during that meditation.
Yeah.
And then I do some other readings and then some prayer involved with that. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm reading a book right now about sleep, right? And about how just a lot of the problems we have with our health or just in life in general, sleep is a huge part of what's going on. It's probably the foundation. It's probably something that I should have made a task to sleep a certain amount per night, but it's probably the foundation. And then you have diet and exercise, and then you have social and some of these other things. But meditation, the ability to shut your brain off, right, is a huge part of why people don't sleep. Right? They'll either can't fall asleep or not be able to stay asleep because they've just got so much anxiety about, stuff going on. And the thing that meditation, I think, really helps with is to calm your mind, right? Meditation is beneficial from, heart disease to anxiety to a lot of different things. Ultimately about being in the moment and being so that you can actually be in the moment a lot more. But yeah, I enjoy it. Allie, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't unmute myself, but now here I am. No, I just same thing. I have to do guided. I have a hard time kind of getting into that state on my own. But the Peloton app, if anyone has Peloton, they have great guided meditation. So yeah, I do like one in the morning and one at night, but it's really helpful for me because I have the hardest time falling asleep, and I'm busy mind. So yeah, if you have the Peloton app, they have a lot of great ones on there.
2 quick things. Tyler, how much sleep do you get a night?
I average a little over 7 hours.
7 hours. Okay. And on the meditation thing, so my awesome, new friend, now 3.5 years.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Oh, my new guy, he's no longer new. I've been with Chris now 3.5 years. He got me for Christmas a sleep mask that has built-in sleep sounds. And when I was like, Allie, when I can't shut my brain off, when I'm laying there at 3:34 in the morning and I can't shut my brain off, I put that on, and it has 32 different sounds, and you can also Bluetooth it to your phone and do a guided, but it's from Sealy puts it out. There's probably more than just Sealy, but it's a the blackout mask, plus it has built-in speakers. It's really kind of cool. At first I was kind of like, I don't want that. And now it's like a nightly thing. So I can listen to crickets or a thunderstorm or soft music, whatever I want, but it helps with shutting that brain off when you're trying to meditate too. So it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, there's a lot of tricks you can do to, better sleep, right? I mean, there's internal and external things that, help your sleep, but I encourage, that's again, the benefit of reading. I never really even, I mean, I knew sleep was a big part of general health, but I never knew all the things that it kind of controls and how you feel and why we dream and just what a lot of these things mean. And it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I think if you're curious about it, check it out. It's called Why We Sleep. Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. It'll open your eyes for sure. Hopefully not during the middle of the night.
How about closing?
So okay, we talked about what else? We've talked enough about the cold shower. Visualization, anybody doing that? Terry, you mentioned that. Anybody else?
Well,
No? Dana,
yeah.
doing
Yeah,
that?
just thinking about, like, if I want to take myself out of an uncomfortable situation, I think about something like being at the top of Snow Summit or the top of the wall. When I used to ski down the wall, now I'm not skiing down the wall, but I used to think about that and that feeling that I had when I was skiing down the wall, because I was a little uncomfortable and I would picture myself in the turns and it would just totally take me out of whatever was bothering me or whatever fear I was going through at the moment. So, I mean, it could be whatever anybody feels uncomfortable doing, and picture yourself in that activity. But anyway, that's what I think that I use for visualization.
Cool.
Do you have an example that you could share?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, visualization can be really anything. I mean, typically I would envision visualization like, okay, either writing down like where you want to be in 10 years, what's your life look like? What are your kids or your spouse or your partner? What are they doing? Where are you? What does it feel like? That kind of stuff. Or a vision board, like, having a board of, okay, these are my goals and these are the things that I, want to have. So when I think of visualization, I think of stuff like that. I don't do it very often. I might do it unconsciously or subconsciously, think about certain things. Every once in a while, I'll write down a note and just put it somewhere, if I want to weigh a certain amount or I want a certain amount in my bank account or whatever, I might do that kind of stuff, but I don't do it on a daily basis. It was something that I felt that I was trying to do when I did some of the tasks I did last year with Robert. And so that's why it's in there. But I think it's powerful. I mean, if you don't know where you're going, how do you know how to get there, right? Or when you're going to get there. So it's good to have, it's kind of like, I see it kind of as goals for life goals. And where you want to go and what you want to have and what are you doing and how do you want to feel and that kind of stuff. So that's
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
So I did a vision board and I have it hanging in my office, and every day I get to see it, and it helps me keep track of my goals, what I'm looking for, trying to get a bigger house. Just inspirational quotes. What do I need to achieve my goal? What's a new thing I could try to do to get more listings, more buyers, all that kind of stuff. So I think seeing that reminder every day helps me figure out how I want my day to start and end.
Cool. That's exactly what it is right there, Damon.
Okay, perfect.
Right? So, um, so we talked about, so meeting somebody new, right? How are people doing with that? Nancy, how you doing?
I've done really good at that.
Yeah.
Mostly because I check people in almost every day, so I meet people that are coming to stay at my vacation homes. So that's been fun, and meeting people, like I did the doing something, random act of kindness at Starbucks where you pay for somebody's thing behind you, pay for their meal behind you. And then I met people that way too. I did one at the supermarket where I went there early in the morning, and there was an elderly lady and she was looking through her wallet trying to pay for all of her food in her basket. And I ran around without her noticing and gave the lady my credit card and paid for her food. And she was really excited about that. So, and that's how I meet people from doing those random act of kindness.
You're getting two for tasks, huh?
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, and right. And again, it goes back to like, how does this stuff make us feel, right? We need to be doing things that make us feel good. And sometimes we get so caught into a routine of not understanding how it makes us feel when it feels bad. So it's good to notice how it makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
Good job. Anybody else? Melissa, you've been quiet. How are you doing? Good.
I knew that was coming. I'm like, for sure he's gonna say my name any minute. When's it happening? I think if you're on your team, you have to speak up, right?
Well,
So it's actually been going really well. I started eating really clean like over a month ago, probably, and I was completely addicted to Coke. I haven't had one of those in over a month.
Good job.
One thing I was gonna say was Peter, he's been doing the carnivore thing, and he was on some message board and they were encouraging incorporating this element. Have you heard, it's like a packet that you put in your water.
Yeah.
And it has like some salt in it and some things that are supposed to supplement your body, which apparently a lot of people are deficient in. So what I found is, I haven't given up my tea, but don't tell anybody. So I have a tea in the morning when I sit down with a book, and it's just kind of my time. But then I switched to the water thing. And so I'll start with an element water because it actually, I guess Peter thinks it tastes salty. I think it tastes amazing. And it kind of almost makes me mentally feel like I'm not missing Coke or soda. And then once I have one of those, then I just have water for the rest of the day. And so yesterday was Lila's birthday, and I have a 14-year-old, which is so crazy. So I had this cheat day and I didn't have any soda, but I had other things and I actually felt horrible. So it's just really a testament to, I mean, I think it's so good for our bodies to identify all of these things that we're putting in that we get used to eating. But once we clean everything out, like, it's been amazing. So I've been on the Peloton. I was actually going to ask Allie if she rides while she does this meditation thing, but the Peloton for me has been awesome. And doing some walks with the dog, although we haven't been dog people, but now we're these dog people because we lost one of our dogs. So now the kids are obsessed with our other dog. So, but more the Peloton than anything. And I was going to also ask, so what if you take a shower, but then you turn the water to cold for the end of it? Is that allowed?
That's the way you're supposed to do it.
Like a regular
That's the
shower?
way you're supposed to do it. Huh?
Okay. Like a warm shower and take your shower and then end it with cold.
But yeah, that's what I do. That's what you do. I mean, you don't have to just take.
I thought this entire group.
I'm sorry, I
just
didn't.
Maybe
I didn't
freezing shower, and then that's how you shower. It seems impossible. Okay.
No, I mean, it says 1 minute, right? So it'd be hard to do a 1 minute
Well,
shower.
I don't understand. Mike said he takes his first shower cold, and I'm like, wow, some of you guys are full rock stars because that's not impossible. Okay.
No, yeah,
So
take a warm
I,
shower, and then the last minute or however long you're gonna do it cold. But you want to end on the cold so that you have the benefits. If you end on the hot, then it takes away some of the benefits. So the
no,
idea is to
actually
end up.
the ending on the cold is awesome. And I agree. It actually feels very refreshing. And you would think that it would be torture, but it's kind of enjoyable. But I
Good.
did kind of I kind of got on this a little bit later than everybody else. I kind of missed the start date, and then I already had this cheat for Lila's birthday. But overall, things are really good. I'm feeling great. And I actually am just really proud of you for what you're doing. And I just always feel like your dad would be so proud. So thank you for leading the pack in all these amazing ways.
Oh, thanks. I
Okay, so
appreciate that.
I'm
Thank you.
remuting myself.
Yeah.
That's
So,
enough.
yeah, good. Well, I'm glad that, Nicole had mentioned in the comments about that. That's called Element. It's electrolytes. There's a ton of companies out
I'm
there that
gonna,
have
well,
those.
yeah, I'll show you the box of the one that
And
I
yeah,
use.
yeah, I'm familiar with them. But yeah, so when you do certain types of diets, sometimes they're low in salt, or or your body needs some electrolytes, and that's why people supplement with
Yes,
those.
it is
But
electrolyte. I
generally,
wasn't sure, but it's like sodium, potassium. It's zero
there's
sugar.
a few of those out there.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, so
Yep.
this is, I think this one's the best, but they have like 8 or 10 flavors. And it's helped me feel like I have something to drink other than water that's not soda.
Good.
Might be
Yeah,
worth a
and
try.
again, that's what it is sometimes. It's good.
Yeah.
What's that?
Or
Yeah.
watermelon, I've heard is good.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just a matter of, again, starting a different habit that's healthier, right? And so that's a habit. Like I'm the same way. I put some stuff in my water that, I do consistently now, but it's just a better habit that replaces one that maybe wasn't as good. So, yeah, I don't want to keep beating this up if there's nothing new to add, but does anybody else have anything to add on any of the other tasks? I mean, so reading, meeting a new person, random active. I mean, the meeting a new person, like what Simeon said, if you meet 30 new people, just, I mean, what that could do to your life and or your just mindset and your business seems like it's just a totally positive thing to do. And what you just never know who you're going to meet. And I guarantee you're going to meet people that know people, and all this kind of stuff. And so you'll have a lot to talk about. Is there any other tasks that we haven't talked about that people have been doing that they've been seeing good results?
Back to the meeting a new person. I've never had a problem talking to people and meeting people, but I've found that if I'm stressed and I just don't take the time, I don't have time to talk to you, whatever, I'm busy, I'm on to the next thing. So it's given me a chance to think about what, I need to talk to people, because it makes you feel good to hear what other people have to say about where they're from and what their story is. And it's just very rewarding to take that few minutes whenever you have an opportunity to talk to somebody just about meeting a new person, talking to that person and getting them to talk about themselves. The only other thought that I would share with everybody is I feel like I had a lot of good habits, but I was feeling like I had some bad habits that were really annoying me. So, and I recognized they were bad habits, but I was like, nah, I don't want to deal with that. So this has been great for me to focus in on just the balance and dealing with some of those bad habits. And I am reading Atomic Habits, so that helps a lot too. So there's always time and a time in our lives to make a correction and like a reboot or a reset. And I feel like this is great. This is what this is for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just kind of like a reminder, right? I mean, I don't know many people that are like just 100% all the time. Right. And it's easy to get into a routine of, unhealthy habits versus healthy habits. So that's exactly what this is something that you can go back to in the future too. and just, hey, I need to do another 30-day deal here or whatever, right? To, get back into the swing of things. Generally, when we get to a point where we're not happy with something or where there's a problem, it's because we've got off track, out of our routine. So the more that we can make these routine to where we don't have to think about them, they're just part of who we are. That's the goal. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Tyler,
But, anybody,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, I was just
Yeah,
gonna say, did anybody take on the no alcohol?
Oh, well, I don't drink, so.
Mary?
I did.
Mary, John, you've been doing it, buddy. Mary, how's it going?
Well, I mean, it's not that hard. But I did just to be, because if it's in my house, I'll drink it. So I put it all in a box and I gave it to a friend and said, just keep it. And I went out for my anniversary and I had avian water in a wine glass with a slice of lemon, and it's not that hard.
Sorry that you did that. I felt bad when you sent me that photo.
Like, yay, happy anniversary to me.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to convention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
You know what? I'm sleeping at night. And I mean, I think that's why it's been a little bit easier for me to get rid of it, because when I was drinking it, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be up for a couple hours, or I'd wake up in the morning and, just be bloated. I would have like one glass of wine, but I mean, I was feeling effects of it. So physically not, I wasn't buzzed or drunk, but just on my body with water retention. And I've lost a couple pounds, so it's good.
Good. Yeah, again, it's that thing of like, sometimes we don't know how making us feel until we eliminate it. And
Right.
once we eliminate it, then we get a really true sense of its impact on, us. And that could be anything from food, alcohol, media, whatever. You really don't know how something's impacting you. Anybody else? Somebody was going to say something.
Yeah. Tyler, Matt and I both have I've cut back totally on liquor. Not that we drank a lot, but we did enjoy a cocktail or two a night, and that's about it. But what I found is I did this before your program. I started in September. I just thought I'm going to have my blood work done in November. I want to stop drinking totally to see how it affected my blood work. Well, the surprising thing was that, number one, I found myself sleeping through the whole night instead of waking up at 1 o'clock and having to go to the bathroom and blah, blah, blah. And when I would get up in the morning, I'd feel refreshed, like, okay, I'm ready to go. And the second benefit, which I was the blood work was pretty much okay, just like it always is, except my blood pressure was down well within the normal range. As a matter of fact, the technician said, I wish I had blood pressure like yours. And so I said, well, I stopped drinking like 4 months ago. She said, that'll do it. So those were the two benefits, which I love sleeping and being asleep at night and getting up and feeling good. And that's the benefit of not consuming alcohol.
Yeah.
So,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely impacts, the sleep, among other things, but, that's good. I'm glad you're seeing the benefit. Anybody else?
Oh, I was just going to say, Tyler, on the meditation thing, I combine that with everybody. I combine it with my walks. So to me, out in nature, my mind is at peace. And so sometimes with meditation, you sort of have to get into that mode. But I think while you're out in nature walking or with your dog, it naturally occurs in your brain. So you can combine those two things if you don't have time to sit and meditate. A lot of people, their mind is racing, but when I'm out, sitting to meditate, I kind of have my mind still racing and I have to take time to get that down. But when I'm walking, it naturally goes away, or hiking.
Yeah, you can definitely get, I know what you're saying, Mike, because I have that same feeling when I'm out and about. You kind of get into a flow, and you definitely, what else flows is your creative mind. You know what I mean? When you're out in nature, walking and doing stuff outside, things just start to come into your brain, about how to solve certain problems or certain things that you want to do, and also when you're sleeping. That's what the science shows, is that when you sleep good, you're more creative and you're able to learn more. So I mean, I like sleeping too. But yeah, the meditation that I'm talking about though is about sitting down, and that's part of the process of meditating, is to actually sit down with a busy mind and be comfortable and be, nature can kind of take you a little bit out of it to where you want to be actually in it to, I mean, it's similar, but it's different in that when you're sitting and these thoughts are coming, that's okay. That's what's supposed to happen when you're meditating, right? You're just supposed to view your thoughts and not be controlled by your thoughts, right? And that's ultimately what it comes down to with meditation, is that the more you sit and do it, the more you're able to, I think, be less reactive in life. You're able to be more into the moment, but not reactive to the moment. That's what it teaches. It's taught me, and I think some of the benefits of it. But ultimately, if you get out in nature and you feel like, hey, I'm relaxing, and ultimately that's going to be a huge benefit, right? The kind of meditation that I'm talking about though is going to be sitting down, sitting down and either following a guided meditation or just sitting down and following your breath, seeing what thoughts come up, but not following those thoughts, right? And it's hard. I mean, like I do it every morning, and I'm constantly following my thoughts, right? But then the more that you do it, the better you get at realizing that you're following your thoughts and then going back to your breath or going back to whatever, being in the moment. And again, it doesn't teach you how to be good at meditation. It teaches you how to be better at life and how to be less reactive and how to have less anxiety, which will help you sleep and help you around your kids and help you just around every environment you're in. So just be more calm, right? Ultimately is what it's about. So all good stuff. I mean, all these things that I recommend doing, they all have their benefit and they're all synergistic with each other. I think everything you do ties in together. That's why doing them together helps, and doing one helps you do the other one, right? Doing a cold shower helps you get over,
Hey, Tyler,
Yeah.
quick question. Do you think a form of meditation is like sitting down for 30 minutes to an hour and playing music?
Mike, I think that I don't know that I think that it's I don't know, I wouldn't call it meditation necessarily. I would definitely call it a flow state, right?
Yeah.
Where you're getting in, because like playing the piano or even shooting hoops or even gardening for some people, right? Doing certain things, running can be similar to that. So I would say meditation, you shouldn't have to have any kind of object, Mike, to truly do it, other than just you and your mind and sitting down. So
Yeah.
I think that it's potentially, it's definitely a positive habit, but it's not meditation. Even though there might be some similarities. I'm sure, if you were to look at your heart rate and your breathing rate and all that kind of stuff when you're doing it, it probably goes down and you're probably pretty chill. And that's ultimately a good thing. But I think meditation is more about being aware of your thoughts, being in your mind and watching it and not being controlled by it. That's what it comes down to. And that's why I think it's a little bit different, but I understand what you're talking about. And I think it's still beneficial. And, there can be other tasks that you all want to do that have a positive impact. Go for it, man. Do it. Right. I mean, that kind of stuff is fair game for sure.
So I think what you're saying, Tyler, is I mean, even though it's relaxing, hiking, but what you're saying is to cut out the external stimuli and just be trapped in there. And that's what you're trying to conquer, is letting those thoughts yeah, I get it. Yeah.
There's a quote, I forget what it goes, but it's something about a lot of our problems can be rooted down to us not being able to sit in a room by ourselves for 10 minutes.
There you go. Yeah, it makes sense.
We're always looking for something.
So Tyler, thank you for reaching out to me.
Yep.
And bringing this program up. And on another note, I am so happy when I go to the gym and see the people who are actually going and taking advantage of what we're doing. And again, all this comes from who, Mr. Tim himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so strong about people exercising and being healthy. Now, once in a while, I'd go out with him. We'd stop for 31 flavors. But other than that, I mean, he set the pace. And I'm glad that I was able to work something out, because I tried to work something out with Nina way before I went back to the new gym again, Mike. just so you know, and reached out to her and come on a meeting, talk to us, cut me a deal, and we could have 25 or 30 people. No can do. So with that being said, when I met this Nathan and said, I'd like to do something for my company, he jumped to it. He came on he did a video with Nicole, and the rest is history. Now we're on a good program and everybody is trying to be healthy. And I think it's a good thing for everybody.
Well, Tim, back in the day, paid gym memberships for us to go to Tina Follett's gym, spinning and gym and workout. So, you know, we're just still following in, you know, Tim's lead as much as we can with Tyler, obviously, so.
So thank you for picking up the pieces.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. No, like I said in the beginning, you know, none of this stuff's new. A lot of the stuff
Yeah,
I talk about is stuff that I've learned. I'm not coming up with anything new. I'm just packaging it how I understand it and how I think people can relate to it, but nothing's new here. So I want to respect everybody's time. I know it's been an hour, so I appreciate you being on. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions on anything. Know that I'm inspired by you guys just as much as you may be inspired by me or anybody else. So feel free to share with other people what you're doing. That's what this is about ultimately, right? I've learned some of this stuff. You're learning it. Maybe people will see what you're doing and be like, hey, what are they doing? Share it, right? Share it, because ultimately when it comes down to it, if we can help others, it will feel better about it. And it drives you and it'll motivate you, and it'll motivate you to be a better person and be a better example. So keep sharing, keep doing, and maybe we'll chat next week and touch base, maybe make it a little bit shorter and just see if anybody's having any issues.
Right.
Thanks, Tyler.
thank you so much.
Everybody, we'll see you.
Thank you, Tyler.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
Hey, Dana.
Yes,
So we'll shorten that down a little
Yeah.
bit, and yeah, and just
yeah, that was a little too long, I think.
well, anything from ChatGPT.
I know.
Yeah.
We have to make it short and sweet, something people will actually, you know, read.
Well,
And maybe get their attention, grab their attention. That's why I thought, hey, have you heard what Remax Big Bear is doing for all of the agents?
mhm.
Gym memberships at work. What is the name of the place? Workforce? I forgot the name. Anyway, gym memberships,
Mhm.
30-day personal development challenge. You know, something that get people excited about, like, wow. This is like, it's really like personal coaching from Tyler on the 30-day program.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah, no, it's great. So we got that, and we got the gym membership. So do you
I
want
mean,
me
I
to?
don't know if that's a recruiting email
Well,
or how you
Mm.
incorporate that, you know?
well, yeah, I mean, I can incorporate that. We have a recruiting page on the website, so I could put those things on the
Yeah,
website.
yeah, that would be good.
Let me turn off the recording, by the way.